So the topic which I will be covering today will be current trends and advances in value-added foods. I don't know whether there are food technologists in the audience, but I
We
surely
have
know
some.
there are
We have some.
yes.
We have some.
Okay, great,
Actually, we have.
great. That's a good thing. But I'm sure we already do have agriculturists. That's for sure. And many times it happens that when you're a student of agriculture, are there students or there are other scientists as well in
Sir,
the audience?
sir, actually, we have students as well as researchers, as well as sir RA, SRF, principal scientist, dean of the universities, all
Great, great.
together. Yeah,
That
principal
that
scientist.
that that makes me conscious.
No, sir,
Uh,
you can.
so what I will be thinking of, what I think of is many times I come across students who are studying agriculture, and many of them do not see agriculture in perspective of post-harvest management. Many of them concentrate on cultivation, production, and its dynamics. And what is left behind many times is the post-harvest management, their losses, the waste which we acquire while we are handling these produce. And the most biggest loss which we get is during this particular period. About 50% of the produce which we already know is worldwide, and particularly in India, the losses are high because of many different reasons, which are beyond the scope right now. But some of these are already leaning towards the handling issues which are, and of many different reasons. One major reason is we see food in its own entirety as it looks on the field and then gets to our hand. So tomato is considered as tomato, and potato is considered as potato. That is what we are looking for many times. We don't see that how that could add, we could add value to it and bring in more revenues associated, and that is where the profits lie. So what we urge that instead of just consuming fresh produce or handling fresh produce, let's convert it into value-added products, right? And bring in more income to the farmers as well. And that is what perhaps the government is looking for when we are saying doubling the farmers' income. When Modi ji said that we need to double the farmers' income, we are looking to give more revenues to farmers so that they could generate more revenues out of it. And value-added products are sure short way of doing. So, but then we are looking to what actually is happening right now in this perspective on the research scale as well and in commercial scale as well. So I'll be touching upon many of these factors. What are current trends that are happening? What people are working on? What scientists are working on? What industry wants nowadays? Industry particularly is very much driven by consumer perception. So what consumer wants is what industry is going to make. That is what how the food industry works. That is how agriculture basically works. The farmer only plants something which is in demand, right? Many times that brings in lots of losses as well, that you already know of, right? But then if that is if sometimes the farmers when produces something, all the farmers in the area starts producing the same, or that becomes the trend, and then you have lots of produce available and there is not much demand. Then but and at some times what happens that there is very less produce, right? And not much availability of the produce which is there, maybe due to seasonality or due to high production or any other cause per se. In all the different agricultural produce dynamics like fruits and vegetables, maybe cereals and pulses, maybe milk is very much in that category. So you would understand that it is very volatile, right? So value-added produce production or post-harvest handling or post-harvest management of these crops is absolutely necessary. So there are certain areas of research or food industry, food sector is looking towards is the cereal processing sector, for example. I'm sorry. So cereal processing sectors, mostly what we have for a very large period of time, we have focused on two major crops, which we know of is rice and wheat, particularly in area like Punjab. That has become the main niche crops which we get, right? And we have neglected certain amount of crops which are there, such as which you or me know, like millets, right? Which you already know that 2023 is now what declared by the world uh, now that it's a year of millet. And India was the front runner who actually uh, was involved in making that happen, right? So although that was our normal diet, we had always consumed jowar, bajra, if you also call it maize. Then there were other cereals like smaller millets, like sorghum. You would see like putki, kodo, sawa, right? And such kind of cereals like pseudo cereals, maybe buckwheat, right? And there is another which we already normally consider as fodder crop, like basteen, right? Which is now still now considered as a fodder crop, right? We use these as fodder zone, right? For a very large time period, sorghum was considered only as fodder, but now the perspective is changing, and we are now getting into more and more different types of products in market which are using these cereals. For a very large period of time, it was they were known as core cereals, but now people have understood, re-understood, I would say, that the people, age-old people, our ancestors already knew the value of it, but now we have started understanding that they hold more value than rice and wheat, which we normally consider as a part of our diet, right? And that's why industry is focused very much now towards these nutri cereals, pseudo cereals. You'll see Maggie coming into oat Maggie. There will be a high fiber Maggie. There would be now there are certain, I've been to expos where there are sorghum based noodles. There are millet based noodles. If you go to southern part of India, they're very much fond of millets, right? Although in northern region it is not much popular, there are certain regions where they do consume, like Uttar Pradesh, they will be consuming more finger millets. There are certain northeastern regions which do consume lots of these fermented nutri cereals, right? But now industry has taken action onto it, and they are bringing in more products, right? Because they are concerned about the health of the consumer, and consumer itself has started valuing their own health, right? And cereal processing sector is one major sector there, which actually is focused on bringing these nutrients into the market, right? Then other area would be post fruits and vegetable, post harvest management of fruits and vegetables. For very long period, we had been consuming it fresh, right? We still consume it fresh. Indian culture promotes consumption of fresh produce of all kind, maybe it be fruits or vegetable, meat or milk or anything, right? And there's a good reason behind it, right? But now we have also understood what we can get out of what is wasted as well, like peels, pomace, right? These different food-based we always had produced juices, but then the pomace that comes out of it has been thrown off, and that is more than 50% of its matter. The if you consume in consider kinno in Punjab, you would see that all the kinno citrus fruit we had always wasted the peels which are, right? And we, for very large time period, we considered that there is no nutrients into it. That's why we threw it off, right? But then we found out there are more valuable nutrients in it than the actual produce, right? And that is where the goodness of the nutrients lie, like bioactive compounds. These bioactive compounds like antioxidants, which we are running behind like crazy nowadays. Polyphenols, right? People who are using, people are now using it in cosmetics as well, right? So you would see that these fruits and vegetables were not handled very well. Now we have understood, the industry has understood that instead of focusing on the product, sometimes the byproduct of the produce is more valuable than the product. Like if you take example of milk, which I'm going to touch upon next, okay? Is it the whey is more valuable than the milk itself. Milk you get about 50 rupees a kg, 50, 60 rupees a kg. But whey which you get, you if you go in market and get supplements, you would spend thousands of rupees on those supplements, and most of it will be flavors. right? Because whey is more valuable than the milk, which is now, right? Similarly, microgreen is one of the dear subject, which I will be touching now. There are newer um, avenues in vegetable production now. People had been consuming vegetables as normal diet, right? But we never considered that different stages of vegetables could also have different amount of bioactive compounds, right? We always thought that we have to take produce. The mature it becomes palatable, tender. It is fine to consume. We will consume it and get nutrients out of it. But we never saw that different stage when it was a seedling, right? Or perhaps it is a sprout. We had always understood how sprouts are important. But then when the leaves come out, we always throw off the sprouts. Particularly onion, if you see, if you have onion, sprouted onion, or if you have sprouted garlic, if you have sprouted potatoes, we have thrown it off, right? Because we think that it is not of no good. It has gone wasted. It will not have the same nutrients now. It will not taste particularly the same because food industry for sorry to feel for food industry, it is taste driven. What we the consumer tastes good, they will have. They taste good French fries, they will have French fries, even if it is causing them harm, right? So uh, we the industry is now changing its perspective, and if you'll see in high-end restaurants, they would have a good dish made out of chicken, potatoes, or something, any other normal produce, and they will just put two twigs of microgreen onto it, and it will charge more than what it used to. So if you see five-star restaurants now putting in microgreens on in all of their dishes, right? So these microgreens are now in thing which is happening, right? There are not many scientists in the world who had been working onto it. Recently, it has come into scenario of managing it, right? Because of the thanks to the hospitality industry. Now, even processing industry is paying good attention to it, right? And we at LPU have started working on microgreens. And if you'll see in India, we will have only few of us scientists who are working on microgreens as of now. Although I will want many scientists to come in. If students are listening, this is the best area to work on, right? Then milk is another area. We have been the largest producer of milk since very long time now, right? Since buffalo was considered as milk animals, right? But then milk is too much in production. We have lots of consumers. It is sold like hotcake. Like milk is not available many times, particularly into festivals. शिवरात्रि आती है तो मिल्क तो आपको मिलेगा ही नहीं मार्केट. वो हम ऐसे ही बहा देते हैं, बट मार्केट में नहीं मिलेगा आपको, पीने के लिए नहीं मिलेगा. तो हमारे पास मिल्क की खपत बहुत, right? So we consume milk like anything. But then we don't see that the milk is we've been giving our milk to our children that ये कह के कि उसमें बहुत न्यूट्रिशन, राइट? बट हम उसको ये नहीं देख रहे कि उसमें जो न्यूट्रिएंट्स नहीं है, हम उसके तरफ अनदेखा कर रहे हैं. वी आर नॉट सीइंग दैट इट इज नॉट a wholesome food. We've been considering milk as a wholesome food for a long period of time. Market milk is considered as the अब दूध पी लिया सो जाओ. कई बार तो हम दूध पी के लोग सो जाते हैं, राइट? सिर्फ दूध ही पीते हैं कई लोग, राइट? और हमें बचपन से आदत है दूध पीने, राइट? बट बड़े होके छूट जाती है कई बार, जिसके वजह से लैक्टोज इंटॉलरेंस वगैरह ये सारी चीजें आती हैं. बट then industry has found out that it will not only work that the milk is given as such. We have to now add value to the milk as well, because milk is a raw produce. Just pasteurizing it, packaging it, and giving it will not serve the purpose of delivering nutrients to consumers. So now, if you see the packets which you get now will have F plus sign on to it. So government has made it mandatory to fortify milk now, right? So they are fortifying something which is not present into it, like iron, right? Milk is not a good source of iron. Although products which are made from milk, like koa, is a very good source of iron because it is made into iron pans, right? Which makes it happen. It makes it the micro iron particles churn into it, get into it, and then it would becomes a good source, right? But not many people would like it. Perhaps not many people would have koa. Some people like only chena-based products. Like if you in India, if you see, if you go to northeastern part, they are not having koa. They will have all chena-based mithai, like West Bengal. All Bengali mithais are very famous, but they are only using what do you call chena. The sandesh which is made of chena, right? Chena means preliminary part of paneer, if you can consider, although it is quite different, right? But that's part of a different discussion altogether. Then, for a very large period of time, till until now, although we had been distributing sweets, although the marketing people are trying to change it to chocolates, but we are still very fond of our sweets. Right? So this Hoa based sweets or Chena based sweets or maybe rabdi, condensed milk like basundi, rabdi, different states will have firni in Punjab, if you see. Different place will have their own kinds of sweets, but all will use milk as the primary ingredient, right? So if we are consuming so much of milk, the industry is thinking, why not deliver nutrients through milk, right? So that is the area where industry is working on, right? And there are certain other type of foods which perhaps we don't consider as a type, right? But they are the most in products which we have every now and then, like convenience foods, right? Partially cooked, right? Very good example is Maggie. Now, noodles, you may call. Maggie is a very, it has become synonym with noodles. Right? But that brings in convenience. What do you do? Sometimes if you bring that kappa noodles, you just have to pour in hot water. Or if you just put it into water, put some masala into it in 2 minutes, or nobody does it in India 2 minutes, but 10 minutes, it is ready. You don't have to worry about it. आपके घर पे कुछ नहीं है, मैगी है, खा लो. हॉस्टल में सबसे ज्यादा जो कंज्यूम फूड होता है वो मैगी है, राइट? रात में 2 बजे भूख लगी है, मैगी खा. कौन तामझाम करेगा खाना? So convenience food sector has always been a niche area of food industry to bring the food to the plate of the consumer as quickly as possible and as convenient as possible, right? Then packaging sector is one more. आप अगर देखोगे कि मैं अगर आपका अटेंशन करूं पेपर बोर्ड की, अगर आप देखोगे तो हम जूसेस बहुत पहले से पिए. आमरस हम खाते ही हैं. Everybody has mango juice, right? Mango pulp. But when paperboard came into market, people are crazy about buying paperboard. Why? Because the packaging was completely different. We are attracted to packaging more, right? अब अगर आप एड देखोगे कई बार, लेज की एड देखो, लेज या कुरकुरे की एड देखोगे, वो कहते हैं कि कुरकुरे अब नए पैक. अब अंदर तो कुरकुरे वही हैं, लेकिन हमें पैकेजिंग में ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है. एंड मेनी टाइम्स वी बाय समथिंग ओनली जस्ट बिकॉज द पैकेजिंग इज गुड. So food industry is also working on marketing their products based on how they are providing value packaging. कई बार हमें वो जो बर्नी है, वो जो ग्लास जार है वो पसंद आता है, इसलिए हम फूड लेते हैं. अगर मैं किंडर जॉय की बात करूं, किंडर जॉय बच्चे कई बार किंडर जॉय उनको पसंद भी नहीं है वो खाना. ठीक है, वो इसलिए लेते हैं कि वो दिखता अच्छा है, उसके अंदर एक टॉय मिलता है, राइट? इनिशियली जब मैकडोनल्ड्स ने लॉन्च किया था तो उन्होंने हैप्पी मील लॉन्च, उसको टॉय मिल रहा था, वो पैकेजिंग का पार्ट है, इसलिए वो बर्गर लेता था. उसको बर्गर में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, उसको टॉय में इंटरेस्ट, उसको उस पैकेजिंग में इंटरेस्ट. ठीक है, वो टेडी के इसमें जली आती है इसलिए लोग जली खाते हैं, उन्हें जली शुगर है, हमें पता है, राइट? सो बट द इंडस्ट्री इज एक्चुअली वर्किंग ऑन द पैकेजिंग पर्सपेक्टिव ऑन aggressive, right? That is where the marketing, right? Then shelf life extension is another area, right? जो चीज हमें, जो टमाटर हमें 4 दिन चलता था, सड़ जाता था, आज हम केचप लाते हैं और वो 6 महीने साल भर चलता, राइट? दैट इज हाउ इंडस्ट्री इज वर्किंग, कि जो चीज आपको आज uh, खराब होने वाली, वो मैं कैसे शेल्फ लाइफ बढ़ाऊं, राइट? और वो आपको साल भर बाद भी मिले. मैंगो नहीं, मैंगो का सीजन नहीं है, लेकिन आपको मैंगो जूस पीना है, आपको स्लाइस, बाजार में जाओ, स्लाइस आज भी मिलता है, माजा अभी भी मिलता है. यू डोंट हैव टू वर्क फॉर वरी अबाउट सीजनलिटी, राइट? आप आपको ये प्रोडक्ट्स कनाडा में भी मिलेंगे, यूके में मिलेंगे, यूएसए में मिलेंगे, इंडिया में मिलेंगे. यू कैन गेट अ समोसा नाउ इन कनाडा एज वेल. What is the wonder? The wonder is the shelf life extension which they have done in association with packaging, right? So that is trend. That trend is very much part of food industry, right? And one more part is designer foods. एक डिजाइनर फूड्स मतलब आपको क्या चाहिए, कस्टमर को। The food industry understands that the customer no more wants not to do anything. Sometimes you want to do something, and that makes it more valuable, right? I want to do it DIY, do it yourself. Most of the products which you get in market nowadays are not ready completely. वो आधा अधूरा देते हैं कि आप कुछ करो, आपको लगे कि आपने किया, आप चूज करो, आपने किया। लेंस कार्ट को देख लो, वो आपको फ्रेम्स चश्मे की तो पहले से लोग पहनते आए हैं, हम अलग अलग तरीके की सब जगह मिलती थी। उन्होंने आपको किया कि आप बताओ कि आपको कैसा चाहिए, वैसा डिजाइन करके हम। अगर फूड के पार्ट में आप बात करें, तो मैं, सिंपल सी चीज है, आप कहीं पे, आपने कई बार देखा होगा, वो आइसक्रीम बेचते हैं, टर्किश आइसक्रीम। वो आपको खिलाता है, वो पहले खेलते हैं उसको लेके, आपके साथ आइसक्रीम ही देता है, वो आइसक्रीम की टेस्ट सेम है, बट आपको खेलने में ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है, उसके पैसे आप ज्यादा दे, राइट? तो दैट इज द इंडस्ट्री, बिकॉज हम टर्की में तो है नहीं, वी आर इन इंडिया, राइट? बट वी आर स्टिल क्रेजी फॉर दैट प्ले, राइट? बिकॉज इट has बिकम अ पॉपुलर कल्चर, राइट? सो दैट हैज बीन इज बिकमिंग अ ट्रेंड, दैट आपको क्या चाहिए ये कस्टमर से पूछा जाएगा, उसके हिसाब से करके दिया जाएगा, तो कस्टमर आपको जो चाहिए उसकी कीमत देगा, क्योंकि ही हैज कस्टमाइज्ड इट हिमसेल्फ। पिज्जा, दे विल आस्क यू कौन सी टॉपिंग ऐड करनी है, तो ऐड करके दे सकते थे पहले से, ये अच्छा लगता है, ये हमारे पास बेस बने हुए हैं, आप बस गर्म करो खाओ, बट वो वैसे नहीं करते। कहते कि आपको कौन सा टॉपिंग चाहिए। आप सबवे में जाओगे, they will ask you, कौन सा सॉस डालूं, कौन सा ये डालूं, आपके सामने बना के डाले। यू फील दैट यू आर बीन वैल्यूड। So food industry is now looking towards valuing the customer, giving the sense to them that they have been valued, and then getting the value for money, right? Next trend which comes in is nutraceutical and functional. Now, food is no more just look been looked as food. हम फूड को सिर्फ फूड के तौर पे नहीं खाते, हम फूड को मेडिसिन के तौर पे खाते हैं। आपको बताया जाता है, लेट दाई फूड बी योर मेडिसिन, राइट? तो आपका फूड जो है वो आपको न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट, डाइटिशियंस अगर आप देखोगे, वो आपको यही सलाह देंगे कि आपको दवा खाने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप अपने फूड से अपने आप को हील कर सकते हैं, राइट? Right food at the right time in the right amounts is the most important part of our, right? A part of our culture, part of our health, part of our lifestyle, right? And that is why nutraceuticals and functional foods are coming into market. Simple example जो आपको मैंने earlier, ये है याकुल्ट, right? Probiotic, it's probiotic. हम दही पहले से खाते हैं, it was a part of our normal diet. अगर आप देखोगे आज भी, अगर आप गांव में जाओगे तो पूरी थाली बनती है, उसमें दही भी होगा, दही बल्ले होंगे, रायता होगा, सलाद होगा, राइस होगा, रोटी होगी, घी होगा, चटनी होगी, सब होगा। तो दही हमारे फूड का ऑलरेडी एक इंटीग्रल पार्ट, राइट? बट फूड इंडस्ट्री अंडरस्टूड दैट दही इज नॉट मार्केटेड द राइट वे, राइट? दही को दही की तरह खाया जाए, दही को हेल्थ की तरह क्यों नहीं खाया? So they are now used that perspective and enhanced it and served to the consumer in form of a new functional, right? Although the term has come from Japan, right? But the food had been consumed lots of in India as well, in different cultures. Fermented foods for that matter. Pickle को ले, अचार तो हम बहुत पहले से खाते हैं। अचार तो एंसेस्टर्स हमारे खाते आए हैं, कब से जाने हम, कब से अचार खा रहे हैं, हमें पता भी नहीं कब से अचार हम खाए। अचार फर्मेंटेड फूड, इट कंटेन्स माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स मेनी टाइम्स which are good for your health, right? Although herbal technology has been used, salt यूज होता है उसमें काफी सारा, जैसे जैसे प्रोसेसिंग बढ़ती गई, वैसे वैसे उसमें सॉल्ट ज्यादा यूज होने लग गया, तेल ज्यादा यूज होने लग गया, एंड डिफरेंट काइंड्स। ऑल्दो आई एम नॉट सेइंग, ऑल्दो आई एम saying that उसमें तेल ज्यादा है या सॉल्ट ज्यादा है, आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट इट इज ऑलवेज बैड फॉर, राइट? सो जैसे हम कहते हैं कार्बोहाइड्रेट बुरा है हमारे लिए, कहते हैं फैट्स हमारे लिए बुरे हैं, तेल नहीं खाना चाहिए, घी, भाई घी नहीं खाते कई लोग, मैं खुद भी नहीं खाता घी कई, राइट? बट आलू नहीं खाओ, राइस नहीं, ये हम कहते हैं, या जो स्टार्ची फूड से वो मत, राइट? बट इट completely डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट इज योर एक्टिविटी बेस्ड, राइट? इट इज नॉट दैट आपकी कैलोरिफिक वैल्यू आपको ज्यादा चाहिए और खा कम रहे हो तो आप तो गिर जाओगे, राइट? सो द राइट अमाउंट is very much critical in this case. Right amount of food to the right need, right? And food industry understands that, and that's why they are trying to deliver health in form of nutraceuticals, functional food, right from childhood to age old. So हम they are neglecting no one. मतलब बच्चों के लिए पेडियाट्रिक फूड बनाया है और ओल्ड लोगों के लिए जेरियाट्रिक फूड बनाया है. I have also worked on pediatric foods in my PhD, and I have worked on geriatric food in while in my postdoc doctoral research. Right? So now you would see that the range in which these nutraceutical and functional foods are coming, right? Fortified foods are one, dietary supplements, complementary foods, right? There are dietary mixes available, right? Then the next trend is the additives which are added. Deeptanu, I will want you to convey me if I'm using more time, right? Because you'd understand as professors from Beverages. Are you there, Deeptanu? Sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So natural additives are in things now. For a very large period of time, we had been adding synthetic additives. For food, synthetic color पड़ता था. आप कई बार वीडियोस देखोगे कि ग्रीन कलर लगाया जा रहा है किसी चीज पे. आप चाइनीज फूड में वो ठोक के भाव कलर डाल देता है लाल लाल, राइट? बट ये चीज हमें कंज्यूमर्स को समझ में आने लग गई है कि दीज आर हार्मिंग यू, राइट? देयरफॉर दे आर नाउ इंडस्ट्री हैज अंडरस्टूड कंज्यूमर बेवकूफ नहीं, उसको समझ में आ रहा है हम कलर डाल रहे हैं, हम एडिटिव्स डाल रहे हैं जिसकी वजह से वो अट्रैक्टिव लगे. तो दे आर सेइंग दैट हम छोड़ तो नहीं सकते, लेकिन हम उसको natural banana चाहते हैं, that it will not harm the consumer. So they are now looking for natural additives. So research is also driven towards finding different natural additives, which are coming from various sources, like plant sources, microbial sources, pigments, नए microbial sources से लाए जा सकते हैं, right? So there are carotenoids, there are polyketides, which are naturally produced by these microorganisms. So they are using it into a bioreactor, then harnessing, right? So we had also worked on Dr. Savinder Kaur ma'am, which is head of food technology and deputy dean. She will be perhaps interacting with you, which I know of. She had worked on pigment very much, so on carotenoids and polykerides on microbial based fungal pigments, right? So she could be able to explain you better that, right? The next thing which the industry works on, we come across many industries. जैसे हमारा मंथन एक प्रोग्राम होता है जिसमें इंडस्ट्रीज आती है और जिनको हम हमारा रिसर्च शोकेस करते हैं एलपी का. तो इंडस्ट्री से हम कई बार इनपुट भी लेते हैं, उनको क्या जरूरत है, हमें हमारे पास क्या हमने रिसर्च कर रखा है जो उनको यूज कर सकते हैं. उनका एक ही प्रॉब्लम मैंने सबसे ज्यादा देखा है, वो कहते हैं कि हम जो प्रोड्यूस बनाते हैं उसमें वेस्ट बहुत कुछ होता है, जो कि मैंने पहले भी टच ऑन किया. तो वेस्ट को कैसे आप मेरे लिए यूजफुल बना सकते. So industry is looking towards all that waste that is coming up, right? To convert it into useful factor. And industry का मतलब है मेरा ये नहीं जहाँ मशीनें लगी. इंडस्ट्री मतलब जो हमारा फार्म है, that is also our industry. So like for example straw. Deep Tanu could understand it very well. He's working on that very much on biochar and others, right? So you would see
Right, sir.
straw, yes. So the straw, beets rice straw, which has been wasted because we have been doing harvesting with machines and lots of that rice straw is wasted. हम उसको देख रहे हैं एज अ प्रॉब्लम, तो उसको कैसे उठा के फेंक दिया जाए कि हम अगला प्रोड्यूस लगा सकते हैं, हम उसको जला दें. हम ये नहीं देख रहे कि वो हमारे लिए एक प्रोड्यूस है, हम उसको यूज करके कुछ वैल्यूएबल बना सकते हैं. लाइक वी कैन यूज इट इनटू, अगर जानवर नहीं खा रहे, हम नहीं खा सकते, पैकेजिंग में यूज करिए, राइट? उसको बायोचार बनाने में यूज करिए, जो कि वैल्यूएबल फर्टिलाइजर न्यूट्रिएंट है, वो नैनो पार्टिकल्स के तौर पे यूज किए जा सकते हैं टू होल्ड न्यूट्रिएंट्स, डिलीवर न्यूट्रिएंट्स टू प्लांट्स एंड टू ह्यूमंस, right? You'll see lots of food products now coming in with charcoal, right? What is this coming from? These kind of things, right? Husk, rice processing husk is used in like such anything now, राइट? ब्रान जिसको हम बहुत समय से निगलेक्ट करते हैं, उसमें से वैल्यूएबल ऑयल निकलता है, Nowadays, you are getting rice bran oil into market, blended oils into market, right? Why are they bringing it? The industry is trying to utilize what they were wasting, what they were throwing off. They found out that it is more valuable to them than the actual, which I just already talked about, right? So there are other underutilized foods as well. हमने as human race, we have gone from crudeness towards refining things. हमें refined चीज ज्यादा पसंद है, हमें white rice पसंद है, हमें सफेद दिखना चाहिए, लंबा दिखना चाहिए, राइट? बिरयानी राइस, हम हमें वो एस्थेटिकली प्लीजिंग, जब हम वो उसको खाते हैं हमें ऐसा लगता है कि हम हाई क्वालिटी प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, राइट? आई एम नॉट डिनाइंग ऑल दीज which are there. It may be true, right? But then you would see that because of that we are wasting something which is very valuable. हम बाजार में जाते हैं, हम चुनते हैं अपना प्रोड्यूस, राइट? और जो नहीं चुना जाता उसका क्या, उसको कहीं फेंक दिया जाता है, कोई एनिमल खा रहा है, या कोई मे बी जो जिसको कुछ नहीं मिल रहा वो खा रहा है, मे बी, राइट? बट इंडस्ट्री इज वेस्टिंग नथिंग. इंडस्ट्री को उस फ्रेश प्रोड्यूस में, अच्छे प्रोड्यूस से ज्यादा उस प्रोड्यूस में ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है जहाँ पे जो चीज कोई और फेंक रहा है, राइट? क्योंकि उसको पता है कि टेबल टमाटो कोई भी खाएगा, जो अच्छा दिख रहा है टमाटो वो तो घर पे यूज हो जाएगा, जो अच्छा नहीं दिख रहा उसको टमाटो के फॉर्म में मैं ना दूं, उसको केचप के फॉर्म में, उसको प्यूरी के फॉर्म में दूं, इट इज वेरी वैल्यूएबल, इट स्टिल हैज द सेम न्यूट्रिएंट्स, वो दिख अच्छा नहीं है, राइट? देन अंडर यूटिलाइज का मतलब है जहां पे हमने आज तक एक्सप्लोर ही नहीं किया कि ये भी खाया जा सकता है, जैसे मैंने एग्जांपल बताया आपको बरसीन, राइट? वी आर स्टिल नॉट गेटिंग इनटू दैट कि बरसीन को क्या हम कंजम्पशन के लिए, ह्यूमन कंजम्पशन के लिए यूज कर सकते हैं? वो एज अ वीड ग्रो हो रहा है कई बार तो, राइट? हमने ध्यान ही नहीं दिया उसके तरफ, हम उसको प्रोसेस करें इस तरह से कि इट्स एंटी न्यूट्रिएंट कंटेंट इज रिमूव ऑफ, right? And then we can use it. Wheat was, what was wheat? What was rice? It was actually a weed. जो it is actually a grass, right? हम तो घास ही खा रहे हैं, हमें उसको रिफाइन करते करते यहाँ तक लाया कि हमें लगता है कि वो बहुत वैल्यूबल प्रोड्यूस. तो कैन वी डू द सेम थिंग टू बसीम और एनी अदर प्रोड्यूस अंडर यूटिलाइज क्रॉप, राइट? अंडर यूटिलाइज फ्रूट्स कई जगह, जैसे एक लोकाट करके फ्रूट होता है हिमाचल में, बहुत शॉर्ट पीरियड के लिए आता है, इतना टेस्टी होता है, कई लोग हिमाचल से होंगे यहाँ पे या किसी ने टेस्ट किया होगा, बहुत टेस्टी होता है, लेकिन आपको मार्केट में बहुत देर मिलता ही नहीं है. लेकिन जब मिलता है, जहाँ पे मिलता है वो वहां पे इतना मिलता है कि वो लोग खा खा के परेशान हो जाएंगे. तो उस वक्त हम उसको प्रोसेस करके इस फॉर्म में ले आए कि आज भी वो मिल सके, वो ऐसे समय पे मिल सके जहाँ पे जिस समय वो अवेलेबल नहीं है, या वहां पे मिल सके. यू कैन सेल इट इन महाराष्ट्र, दे विल गो क्रेजी लाइक इट, दे हैव नॉट सीन इट देयर. इफ यू कैन सेल इट इन केरला, you can sell it in Canada, right? You can understand that these produce underutilized foods, underutilized crops, flowers, pumpkin का flower, pumpkin को हम एज अ फ्रूट जानते हैं, बट उसके फ्लावर में उसके फ्रूट से ज्यादा न्यूट्रिएंट्स, राइट? There are very much research available which you could see. We are also working on pumpkin flowers now, right? We have understood it recently that where it contains more value. Grape leaf, जो ग्रेप्स हैं, उसके फ्रूट नहीं, उसके लीव्स, दे हैव मोर वैल्यूज देन द ग्रेप इटसेल्फ, राइट? मोरिंगा, मोरिंगा तो लोग इंडस्ट्री ने पकड़ ही लिया है कि उससे तो डाइटरी सप्लीमेंट्स बनते हैं. मोरिंगा की लीफ के, उसके रूट के, उसके स्टेम के, उसकी बीन की तो बात ही नहीं कर रहा. So you understood, we had been throwing lots of things or ignoring lots of things. Now industry has understood. Industry, I told you, industry is driven by consumer. So consumer has understood that this is to be consumed, and now industry is providing it to them, right? And then newer technologies which are coming into market are like nanotechnology applications, plasma processing, omic heating, and those. Uh, Now, when we have already described what is the trend, I will tell you what we had been working on in these trends, right? So, one of the areas which we are working on nutriceureals, I told you, in my PhD, I worked on nutriceureal based fermented baby food, pediatric, which I just talked about. Because I saw that most of these food, baby food which you get market, complementary food, not those lactogens and others, right? They're at a very nascent stage where the baby starts consuming. I said baby food because weaning food is all made up of lactogens and milk based and other things, right? But baby food is where baby has started consuming solid, right? So at that moment of time, what the product which are available in market, which we see, are either made up of wheat or rice, right? Nobody has paid attention that there are no products in market made up of oat, made up of maize, made up of sorghum, made up of pearl millet, and we had been now we have understood they are more valuable. Then why not give it? हमने हम हमारे घर पे सबसे अच्छा खाना जब बनता है तो हम किसको देते हैं? हम अपने बच्चों को, राइट? हम बच्चों की ग्रोथ पे ज्यादा ध्यान देते हैं। हम अगर अंडे लाते हैं तो देसी अंडे हम बच्चों को देते हैं क्योंकि हम समझते हैं कि देसी अंडों में ज्यादा न्यूट्रिएंट होता है, राइट? तो when you want to give them valuable food, why not use these valuable nutrients, right? And give it to them. So what I worked on at that moment of time, the problem in this is that they contain more anti-nutrient factors. Anti-nutrient factors का मतलब होता है जो कि digestion में हमें problem करता है. Digestibility is not that good. Palatability is not there. The only thing we had to do is to improve the palatability and digestibility, right? So to bring it to rice and wheat level, right? So and उसको करना इतना मुश्किल भी नहीं है, राइट? इंडस्ट्री को ना बहुत अगर हम आप देखोगे इंडस्ट्री को बहुत टेक्नोलॉजी बेस्ड चीजें नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर आपने शार्क टैंक देखा होगा तो उसमें अश्विनी जो बात कहता था कि सिंपली चीज बताओ, उनको बिजनेस समझ में आता, राइट? उनको टेक्निकलिटी एसडीजीज वगैरह समझ में नहीं, राइट? तो इंडस्ट्री समझ में आती होगी बट वो करना नहीं चाहती क्योंकि उसमें पैसा नहीं, राइट? तो इंडस्ट्री को सिंपल टेक्निक चाहिए। तो आपको अगर मैं बताऊं कि सिंपल टेक्निक से एंटी न्यूट्रिएंट को रिड्यूस करने की क्या है, पानी में सोक कर दो, स्प्राउटिंग कर दो, फर्मेंटेशन कर दो, सिंपल है। आई अप्लाइड ऑल दोस थ्री टेक्निक and I was able to improve the palatability to such an extent, right, that it is become superior. Digestibility has improved so much more than rice and wheat itself, so that you could use it to give it to your babies. I actually did a consumer trial with mothers ना. जब बेबी को हम जनरल सेंसरी एनालिसिस करते हैं तो हम उस कंज्यूमर को देते हैं जो कंज्यूमर उसका एंड टारगेट है, राइट? बट इन माय केस आई वाज माय टारगेट वाज बेबीज, एंड बेबीज डू नॉट परचेज or babies do not decide what they want to eat. Who decides? Their mothers. So I did the analysis with the mothers. I just asked them one question: would you give this food which I am giving it to you to your babies? Yes or no? That's it, right? And I have got success rate that they consumed themselves. They saw that it was very good for them. They saw that it was palatable, it was digestible, it was sensorily really appealing. And if they, if mothers accept it, that means the baby is going to accept it. For a large part of my life, my mother decided what I should be consuming, right? Right? For, it is, I am sure it is true to every each and every one of us, right? That our mothers जो खाना आज क्या बनेगा वो मदर डिसाइड करती है कि आपके लिए क्या अच्छा है, आपके टिफिन में क्या जाए, राइट? सेम थिंग इज एक्चुअली वैलिड व्हेन हम बचपन बचपन में तो हम अपनी फरमाइश भी नहीं रख सकते। वो तो हम हमें बचपन में जो खिलाया जाएगा वो हम खाते हैं, वही खा खा के पड़े हुए हैं और उससे हमें न्यूट्रिशन मिला है। सो आई टारगेटेड द मदर एज द कंज्यूमर, राइट? So apart from that, there are other work which we did here. One of my friend Ashwini, he's not in LP right now. He's in Rani Lakshmi Bai University. He has done very good work. We both with our students did some good work with finger millet based these beverage, which is there, right? Which you can see in front of you here, right? The photo is available, right? We had got this publication done in Journal of Food Processing and Engineering. It is a very good impact factor journal. Then one of my student, when I came into LPO, one of my student, which the initial student which I got was Renu Bala. She worked on amaranthus-based cookies. Cookies are very near and dear to us. बिकॉज अगर आप देखोगे कि सबसे ज्यादा शेल्फ लाइफ किसी फूड की होती है वो बिस्किट और कुकीज, राइट? और वो गाँव में भी मिलते हैं, वो कहीं पे भी मिलते हैं, गली नुक्कड़ चौराहे पे आप कहीं पे बैठ के खा सकते हो। हम सब इंडिया में चाय बहुत पी जाती है और चाय के साथ हमारे जो चाय एक्चुअल में पीते हैं ब्रिटिशर्स वो नहीं खाते बिस्किट उसके साथ, लेकिन हम खाते हैं। हमारे साथ चाय के साथ बिस्किट बहुत जरूरी है, बिस्किट, रस्क, टोस्ट, कुछ ना कुछ हमें उसके साथ चाहिए, राइट? So those are very good products to deliver your nutrients to. And that's why pseudo cereals like amaranthus, राइट, चौलाई के ये होते हैं, उसको हम कुकीज में अगर कन्वर्ट करें, दीज वर 100% कुकीज, 100% amaranth based cookies. You generally cannot make a dough without wheat because it needs gluten to be made and for sheeting purpose, right? But we succeeded in making 100% amaranth based cookies. There was no gluten into it, so people with gluten intolerance can consume it very well, राइट? एंड हमें ऐसा लगता है कि ग्लूटेन इंटॉलरेंस प्रिवलेंट नहीं है, हर चौथा इंसान को ग्लूटेन इंटॉलरेंस है दुनिया में। तो इंडिया में तो है ही है, इंडिया सब सेकंड लार्जेस्ट पॉपुलेशन और जल्दी ही वर्ल्ड की लार्जेस्ट पॉपुलेशन बनेगी, और उसमें भी ग्लूटेन इंटॉलरेंस और लैक्टोज इंटॉलरेंस सबसे ज्यादा है हमारे यहाँ, ठीक है? और अगर आप देखोगे एक ट्रेंड भी है, अगर इफ यू सी सेलिब्रिटी न्यूट्रिशन, lots of people like maybe Virat Kohli or celebrities like which are coming from film industry, they consume gluten-free diet. Although that is a fad, right? But people who actually need to have it should have gluten-free cookies like these. Then I told you microgreens, which are very near and dear to us. We are still working. One of my PhD scholar, Mahindra, is working on to these microgreens. And as I told you, not many scientists are working onto that. We were the first in India to convert it into a product, and we made a beverage out of it. This was the we extracted, we produced it with high enhanced biotic capacity. We blended it with juices. The problem, I will not see it as a problem, but बहुत sharp pungency होती है microgreens जब वो microgreens are when the first two leaves come in, you will have a sprout. When the sprouting happens, पहले दो leaf जब आते हैं तो that becomes a microgreen, right? So that microgreen is more pungent than the actual produce. If you see, अगर radish की leaf है उससे ज्यादा pungency microgreen के लिए, right? And that is a good thing. It gives you the same feel. एक तीरे खाने से आपको फील आएगा कि आप मूली खा, right? So it contains, you can understand how much bioactive compounds, which are actually giving that weight to the leaf, is actually present in it, right? So we made sure that we, although we'll blend it with other juices, like fruit juices, like pomegranate, pineapple juices, we targeted certain, what you call, diseases like arthritis, diabetes, or something. So this particularly fenugreek containing spinach containing microgreen was anti-inflammatory, which targeted arthritic people, right? And one was fenugreek containing this juice, microgreen based juice, that was targeting the diabetic people. We did not put any sugar in. All that was natural. This was the anti-diabetic microgreen based juice. If you see, the technology is very simple. And the simpler the technology is, it is more adaptable by the industry, right? When I put this onto LinkedIn, I have a habit of when I publish something, I put it onto LinkedIn. And one of the industry people, there's an industry, small industry, which works on microgreen production, Dehat Leaf. He's in Rajasthan, Jaipur. He works in Jaipur. He approached us that he will want to make such kind of product. He never saw such kind of product anywhere else. He was actually thinking of delivering it in such way. Because only selling microgreens will give in 1,000 rupees. Selling microgreen based juices will give in 10,000 rupees, right? So you will understand that how valuable these commodities are. Then at some period of time, I thought we are neglecting many different kind of products which are very much popular, like candies, राइट? कैंडी को हम कई बार तो प्रोडक्ट ही नहीं समझते, हम तो ऐसे उठा के खा लेते हैं कुछ भी मुंह मुंह ठीक करने के, बट हम ये सोचते हैं कि उससे हमें कुछ न्यूट्रिएंट मिले। कई बार तो लोग कहते हैं कि अच्छा नहीं है, शुगर है आपके लिए, so it is not good for you to have, right? But what if I want to deliver a specific nutrient to a child who likes candy? Most of the children would like candy, and I want to deliver nutrients like iron products, right? मैं उसको अगर कुछ आयरन बेस खिलाने जाऊंगा वो नहीं खाए, मैं उसको बोलूंगा कि ज्वार बाजरा खा ले, वो नहीं खाए, राइट? बट मैं उसको अगर कैंडी दूं, वो खाए, और मैं उसको कैंडी के थ्रू आई कैन गिव हिम दैट particular nutrient which I am looking. Therefore, these are very valuable commodities. Although small, they are like droplets of heaven. You can deliver anything to a child through candies. And by the way, child पचा लेते हैं कैंडी, शुगर जितनी भी हो, उनकी एनर्जी जो है वो आउट ऑफ स्टेडियम. So we had made fennel based certain candies. We made it two types: hard candy and then soft candies. Soft candies like jelly candies, which you get, right? One of my student Rekha, she is in Canada now. She's worked on to that, right? And similarly, Kajala has worked on to green tea based candy, which is very popular in Japan, by the way. So they do lots of green tea based products, right? But I did not find much research done onto that. Commercially, it might be present, not much research was done onto it, and then we fortified it with different kinds of end products, spices, because India में हमें हर चीज पे ना स्पाइस डालने की आदत है. हम फूड भी खाते हैं तो चाट मसाला डालते हैं, ठीक है? तो therefore we incorporated spices, and that spices will give them antimicrobial capacity, enhance antioxidant capacity of it, will give them bacteria compounds, polyphenols, carotenoids, lots of different things that comes along. So these were this is the green tea based candy which I just. Green tea is known as matcha. The refined green tea powder, which is very fine, is known as matcha. Right? This is one with ginger, tulsi, and cinnamon. I just told you about the spice. We like spicy food. Indians do like to put spice in everything. That's it. Then traditional foods. कई बार ना ऐसा होता है कि मुझे लोग, मैं ज्यादातर टाइम ना वर्क करता हूँ छेना, खोआ. मैंने बहुत बार बात भी की पहले, खोआ, छेना, उन चीजों पे. जब हम रिसर्च की बात करते हैं तो हम चीज के बारे में सोचते हैं, हम योगर्ट के बारे में सोचते हैं. हम कोई ये नहीं सोचता कि हम ढोकले पे काम करें, हम जलेबी पे काम करें, हम सिड्डू पे काम करें, हम बबरू पे काम करें, हम पराठे पे काम करें, राइट? पेढ़े पे काम करेंगे, बर्फी पे, रसगुल्ले पे. I like to work on those kind of products because I feel connected to them, right? I had been consuming that, and the Indian subcontinent entire is consuming these kind of products daily, on daily basis. We don't consume yogurt on daily basis, perhaps. दही खाते हैं, yogurt नहीं खाते. Yogurt and dahi are different products. We'll come to that in some time later if you want, right? That goes deeper in the rabbit. But हम इन प्रोडक्ट को नेग्लेक्ट करते हैं. हमें लगता है कि ये तो रोज का है. ढोकला क्या खाना, ढोकले में क्या किया जा सकता है, ढोकले में क्या नई चीज हो सकती है, कुछ नहीं हो सकती, राइट? हम मार्केट में ढोकला क्यों खरीद के लाएंगे कि मैं फंक्शनल फूड खा रहा हूँ ढोकला. आपको लोग बोलेंगे यार ये तो कुछ हो नहीं सकता, बट इट इज एक्चुअली ट्रू. वी हैड सक्सीडेड इन मेकिंग मेज बेस्ड ढोकला, राइट? विच एक्चुअली मेज से ढोकला नहीं बनता. ढोकला बनता है जनरली मैदा या एक्चुअली उसको बनना चाहिए चने की दाल से, बट मिक्स इससे बनता है, right? But we had succeeded in making maize based. And when I say we have succeeded, that means we have the same sensory perception that you have using the normal dokla. So if मैं अगर आपको दोनों चीज खिलाऊं तो आपको डिफरेंस दिखता चलेगा. That is how we have made it possible, right? Then we have also worked on jalebi to make it low calorie, wherein we use uh, sugar alcohols like erythritol, what do you call these kind of sugar alcohols which are there, sorbitol, right? To make it possible that there are no non-nutritive sugars into it, which will not be metabolized in your body. So you can eat guilt-free, right? So this was the jalebi, low calorie jalebi, which we had made. Savinder ma'am has worked on this with her student as well. Right? And this is the chickpea and maize flour based dhokla, which we talked about. This is another chakli, which is very near to Maharashtrians. Also, if you go to southern part, you will see it as part of Morocco, right? And you can get it in Haldirams also. Haldirams भी Morocco देता है, chakli देता है, right? So it is produced. It is now popular worldwide. Even you get it in stores here, right? So you can understand how important this produces to deliver a nutrient which you thought perhaps was not deliverable to a particular place, right? Then we had worked on convenience food, like there are uh, underutilized crops like these black carrot, uh, which has been converted into noodle. We had put noodle. Dr. Jyoti has worked on this, right? This is the uh, noodle. We had refined the technology thereafter, right, to make it commercially viable, right? Then we had worked on certain kind of foods which are very much uh, like Nutri-Bar, chalte फिरते खाओ. But we don't want to deliver sugar to it. We want to deliver it in a natural way, right? Certain kind of and produce like chia. Chia seed is very much rich in omega-3 fatty acids, omega-6 and omega-3 ratio fatty acids, which are very much good for you, right? So we have converted it. Normally हम chia जो है वो एक तो कई बार होता है कि हम घर पे लाते हैं तो चावल लाते हैं, हम चिया नहीं लाते, हम किनोवा नहीं लाते. आजकल ट्रेंड बढ़ गया है उसको करने का, because of the market price, because of these products, right, which are coming into market. So now you can have a bar which gives you uh, uh, not many sugars, but the actual nutrients which you are looking. Apart from that, uh, we have not only worked on value-added products to producing value-added different kinds of products. We have worked on the engineered properties of, right, कि अगर मैं प्रोड्यूस को स्टोर करूं तो उसकी शेल्फ लाइफ एक्सटेंशन में मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा जिसकी वजह से उसकी शेल्फ लाइफ बढ़े. फॉर एग्जांपल, वी वर्कड ऑन मशरूम. वन ऑफ माय स्टूडेंट्स, सौम्या, शी इज इन यूएसए नाउ. She has worked on this enhancement of the techniques, nutrition depletion, what happens, or what kind of an nutrient is lost at different processing technique. So what we can actually do to prevent that loss. So if we mark that, मैं जब ब्लांचिंग करता हूँ तब क्या होता है, उसके बाद मैं माइक्रोवेविंग करता हूँ तब क्या होता है, मैं उसको स्टीम ब्लांचिंग करता हूँ तब क्या होता है, मैं अलग अलग प्रोसेस जब करता हूँ तब कितना लॉस होता है, तो आई कैन चूज विच प्रोसेस टू बी चोजन फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर डेस्टाइन्ड प्रोडक्ट. मैं ये ब्लांचिंग करूंगा तो मुझे इसमें सबसे कम ज्यादा न्यूट्रिएंट्स मिलेंगे, दूसरा प्रोसेस कुकिंग करूंगा तो ये ज्यादा न्यूट्रिएंट मिलेंगे. So we had worked on to that, right, to map the entire cycle of how nutrient depletion happens in mushroom altogether, right? On and bioactive compounds like ascorbic acids, flavonoids, which are very susceptible to heat process. So we have done thermal degradation kinetics of these bioactive compounds in mushroom. Right? So we had produced some good papers out of it, which you can see, right? Publications. Uh, these are some other publications which we have worked on. I told you we worked on geriatric foods, where we use rice bean vigna umbala, which is another underutilized crop, which is produced northeast में खाते हैं या कई इससे northern part में थोड़ा कम है इसका चलन, but then it contains very valuable nutrients, right? Then we had worked on one of the dear work which we did was on cactus spear, Opuntia ficus indica. ये आपको कई बार कैक्टस रोड साइड पर लगे हुए दिखते हैं, पंजाब में तो बहुत है, राइट, जंगल में मिलते हैं, राइट. They were ignored. They were in. If you go to Mexico, it is consumed as their daily diet. एक कैक्टस पेयर का एक पर्पल कलर का फ्रूट आता है, राइट, उसको वो खाते हैं, वो लीफ को खाते हैं, राइट. इट कंटेन्स पॉलीसैकेराइड्स which are high fiber, right? Now what we did, we extracted those polysaccharides and incorporated those into paneer, राइट. एक कंसेप्ट होता है क्रायो प्रोटेक्ट. पनीर को जनरली जब हम कमर्शियली यूज करते हैं उसको हम फ्रोजन कंडीशन में यूज करते हैं. फ्रोजन पनीर बड़ा पॉपुलर है. अमूल का पनीर आता है, देखो फ्रोजन कंडीशन में. बट उसमें क्या होता है कि व्हेन यू कीप इट इन फ्रोजन कंडीशन फॉर टू लॉन्ग, इट चेंजेस इट्स टेक्सचर, राइट. एंड दैट टेक्सचर इज द इग्नेट पार्ट ऑफ पनीर. आप पनीर को कैसे जज करते हो अच्छा है कि बुरा है? उसका टेक्सचर स्पंजी है कि नहीं, उसका टेक्सचर फ्रेश है कि, right? And while you freeze it, it loses the actual thing, which is present. वो कई बार glassy होने लगता है, and you have to cut off, throw it off, or you would not like the paneer butter masala which is made out of it, right? So we incorporated cryoprotectant, which is coming from the natural source, that is the cactus peel, into this paneer, right? And we were succeeded in increasing, retaining the texture of the paneer to a very large extent just by incorporation of 2% of this lactose-free cladoid polysaccharide, right? Or that is manageable. It is as per standards, it is a negligible amount, which could be put, right? And we are trying to market it. One of my student, Anirban Day, he is who worked on this in masters. He has his own factory now in West Bengal. He's from West Bengal. He has his own bakery factory. He's a large scale producer of cakes and rusks and biscuits in that area. So we have worked on other, which we have already talked about, like pigments, right? These are some of the patents which I had filed. There were others. I failed to put it into one slide. That's why I could not. These are some present work which we are doing. We are working very much on honeybee spreads. Honey is adulteration detection, alternative ingredients for fat replacers or egg replacers, because eggless cakes and other things are very much in the market, right? Then protein isolates, hydrolysates from underutilized legumes like rice bean, like rajma shreds, which are thrown off, right? Then bioactive extracts, green technology been used for extracting bioactive compounds from peel, pomaces, which have been thrown off, right? And then nutrient analysis and others. This is our team. If you could see Dr. Surendra ma'am as the professor, deputy dean, and head of department for technology, me, then followed by other faculty members. Right? This is our team which we work on various different these kind of technology. Nobody works. I mean, as researchers, you may understand nobody works in isolation. We only succeed when we work together. So these are some of the people who are there. Then apart from that, my PhD scholars, my friends, which are there, we work together. On it. So thank you very much.